In 1956, women marched to the Union buildings. They were demanding an end to past laws. In 2021, women will be marching to the Union buildings again. Now, this time they are demanding an end to gender-based violence, unemployment and corruption. They also want churches to be allowed to fill to half its capacity. Well, for more on this, we are joined by the march's convener, Thobile Magerman. And a very good afternoon to you, Thobile. Do tell us what has inspired or instigated this march that you're going to conduct.
Good afternoon to you, Nothemba, and good afternoon to your viewers at home. It's a number of issues, Nothemba, that have been brewing for quite some time, that we, and in particular, I want to say in particular, as Christian women, because as Christian women, we are supposed to be a vanguard of our nation. As Christian women, we are supposed to be leaders in our own right. But our voice is missing. Actually, I can safely say that our silence is deafening. Our country is known as a destination of femicide. Can you imagine that? How can we be labeled as a world destination of femicide? It cannot be. It cannot be. Unemployment is on the rise since the lockdown in 2020. Crime is on the rise. And for us as women, we find refuge in God. We are Christian women. There is a higher power that governs us. And that is where we find our refuge, our solace. That is where we find our healing, our counseling. The other day here in the news, I saw something that I never knew. Statistics about the happiness index. I never knew that something like that exists. And they were saying that since the beginning of lockdowns in 2020, the happiness index has gone south. It has plummeted. Yeah. It is so low, and that talks to depression, so we are a nation in despair. There are so many things that are not right that are happening in our nation. And as women, we decided to come together to take a stand and to make our voices heard and to say that we resist this kind of evil in its form and shape. And we are saying no to gender-based violence. And also because we find solace in church. It doesn't help us that our places of worship are so restricted. Even now, from 2020, we are almost 19 months into lockdowns. There are churches that have never been opened since the beginning of lockdown last year.
Okay, Thobile. I get all that. I mean, they have previously been marches that are obviously fighting for, for women, gender-based violence, unemployment, and a whole lot of other marches. This particular one, you are inviting people in the church. Why are you separating, church women from the rest of women in society? And if you're marching, what are you expecting? You're marching to Pretoria, I believe. Yes. And what do you expect from after the march? What changes are you expecting from that? Last year or in 2019, our president promised us that he is doing something about gender-based violence, that there's even corporate funding towards gender-based violence, litigation measures. And last year, I think there was a fund from the presidency that was formed to mitigate gender-based violence, but it's not showing. The results are not showing. Women are still. So what are you? What are you demanding, Thobile?
So we are demanding. we are saying that when man comes to the end of himself, God takes over. He created us. He knows us better than we know ourselves. You know, we find comfort, we find solace, and also church is a moral compass of society. So we want restrictions to be lifted because we want to go to churches in numbers, at least because we are aware that the pandemic, you know, is still out there. You know, numbers have not gone down like completely. We still average about 3,000, 4,000 on a daily basis. And that is why we are saying that lift the restrictions, give churches 50%, you know. Every other thing is almost operational on a full scale, be it public transportation, even long distance public transportation. It is operational on a full scale. You know,
Okay.
entertainment centers.
When is the march taking place, and who are you inviting to be part of the march as we wrap up?
We are inviting all women of South Africa, all women that do believe that our answers are in God, that man was created by God. And when man fails, you know, God has to step in. You know, because we are saying that even the African National Congress, the governing party, it was formed in a church. You know, and
when is we have to wrap, Toby?
On the 25th, on the 25th of March, which is next Saturday, at 10 a.m. At the Union Buildings.
All right, we'll leave it there. Sorry, we've run out of time. And that's Thobile Magerman, and obviously the representative and convener of the Women's March that will be taking place next week, Saturday.